Welcome to round 12 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda from amazing Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas. I'm joined in the booth today by Tony Castanera of Oversteer TV and RaceWatches.com. Great to have you here today, Tony.
Glad to be here, Matt. And amazing is probably one of the smallest words you can use to define this track. This track is incredible. It's by far probably the best facility in North America for road racing.
That is definitely true. And let's take a second and look back at round 11, the first race from the weekend. It was a wet start, declared a wet race as Ryan Booth leads them across the line. Sean Rahal in second place as they're heading up the very steep hill at the end of the front stretch to turn one. And at turn one, we see the cars grouping together, and there is a big group of cars getting together, and it looks like that would be Dan Goldberg, John Brownson, the Potolicchios, 8-star. It is a massive pileup for the start of round 11. Not to expect that with the track being that wet.
Yeah, when you got a track like that with such an important turn going uphill, wet track, you expect stuff like that to happen, especially all these guys trying to push, trying to make a name for themselves in the series.
Oh, and we just saw there with that screenshot in the back of the screen, you see the 10 car of Mikhail Goldberg just sliding straight across the track. Apparently the track was extremely wet. It looks quite damp here, getting a little bit of spray kicked up from the back of Ryan Booth's tires. But Ryan Booth is doing his usual trademark checkout, and the 95 car spins in the rain. We're going to see spins all day long through a wet race, so hoping that round 12 is not a wet situation. But we see the 28 car of Dan Yount making a pass on Daryl Schaff, and these guys are really gingerly tiptoeing around this track. You can see dry lines forming, but still heavy rain runoff at the back of the turn there. At the top of the shot, you can see where the rain has come across the track, so you're going to hit dry lines, you're going to hit wet spots, and it's just going to play havoc with these guys.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been more spinning with this rain with these cars, but I guess these rain tires they're using for Cooper tires are doing their job.
Absolutely, they're definitely doing their job, and the one thing they'll have to watch out for is if the dry line continues to form, they're going to need to find rain on that track. They're going to need to find the wet areas to keep those tires cool so they don't simply just rip themselves apart. As we see the 19 car of Jim Booth, McDonald's entry, he's a Masters class, father of Ryan Booth, getting passed by the 30 car of Michael Krumecki, a veteran in the IMSA Light series. And the great thing about, let's talk about that, the Masters classes, as we're watching these highlights, the Masters guys are racing against in a separate class. You have to be over 40 to race in the Masters class, and we see a group of them right there coming through. One thing about this track is it's so wide.
There's plenty of room to pass. Look at 3 wide going into corners. What other track can you do that?
There's none other than I know of. I mean, that track is so wide. And John Brownson gets hit and spun off, and looks like he gets it gathered back up, and he'll just keep on going. John Brownson is the guy I like to refer to as Mr. Excitement, as Don Yount puts a little of his James Bond smoke screen out there.
That's the other advantage of this track, as we see another spin out there. This track was built for Formula One in mind. Plenty of runoff, plenty of asphalt runoff, so you're not going to get laid up in the gravel. And you can make your mistake and survive.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one of the great safety features that Formula One has been able to give to all these brand new Formula One tracks is you do have a tremendous amount of emphasis on safety. I'm not saying that non-Formula One tracks don't have an emphasis on safety, but that's one thing you can be assured of the new Formula One tracks. As we see 42 car Jim Garrett, another one of our Masters class entries, and Daniel Mancini. That looked like a ballet.
That was pretty.
That was nice, right at the same time. Dan Yount passing to the inside of both, and he overshoots it. There we see right there, that runoff area that we were just talking about. He was able to utilize it and come back onto the track.
Most other tracks, he would have been stuck in the gravel or worse, into the wall.
Yeah, that's right. And with our safety car period here for debris, I'm not surprised that there's not debris all over this track. Laguna Seca race earlier in the year, you'll remember, had a tremendous amount, and Ryan Booth has a problem. Ryan Booth develops a problem in round 11 here at Circuit of the Americas, and it plagues him from this through the restart. Sean Rahal gets inherits the lead from Ryan Booth. Ryan Booth, as you can see in the back of the shot, is continuing to try to get his car settled. It seems like whatever problem he's having is on and off and on and off, so it's not totally terminal at this point. But Sean Rahal is going to take this opportunity to pull away from the third place, well, now second place car of Mikhail Goeckberg as De Leonardis makes a pass off the track.
Well, De Leonardis has been having a little fun this whole race. You can see parts of his end plate, his rear wing there. He's made contact with a few people as he tries to dive in. That wasn't a smart move.
And we see Ryan Booth there going around trying to work his way through the traffic. There was a large exhaust flame that came out, so it looks like his engine is, I wouldn't say sputtering, but it looks like it's coming to life and then leaving, and Mikhail Goeckberg gets pushed off the track. And maybe I was incorrect about that exhaust flame because we saw it come out of Mikhail Goeckberg. And the number 4 car of De Leonardis, you can really see they're bumping and banging as they go.
That's how he got all that damage.
There you go. But round 11 was a great race, and Sean Rahal brought us to the line for the win, and it was a fantastic race, a wet race. But round 12 is going to start as a dry race, thankfully. You still see the clouds off in the distance as the prototype lights cars are coming to the line, ready to head down the front stretch. Looks like Ryan Booth is going to be able to get a jump here, and it is green flag racing here for round 12 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda as we head on board with Daniel Goldberg, third place car, teammate of Ryan Booth, as they're getting bunched up into this sharp left-hand turn 1 at the top of the hill. Will they make it through? And no, they don't. John Brownson got kicked off to the side there.
That runoff, we got a clean start.
Yeah, we did get a clean start. They're all still running, and boy, these lights cars are so fast at this track. They can really open it up with the way these cars handle, and they can really use every bit of that Mazda engine that they have underneath that right shoe.
Well, Ryan Booth has started to pull out a lead early in this race, so whatever problems he had in the last race, those are fixed.
Well, I definitely will hope so that they are fixed. And second place is Sean Rahal. Third place, we see the 10 car of Mikhail Goeckberg. And let's take an opportunity to talk about the L1 prototype class car.
Well, this is a development series, but don't think these are kiddie cars, because this is the Lon Motorsports Technology chassis with a 2-liter Mazda engine. It's 235 horsepower. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. They can top end at over 170 miles an hour.
And they will definitely be able to show that here at Circuit of the Americas, because with as wide as this track is, they're going to be able to get up to that 8,000 RPMs and use that 235 horsepower quite easily. As we see Ryan Booth still continuing to lead Sean Rahal in second, followed by Mikhail Goeckberg in third, and Christian Politico in fourth, Dan Goldberg in fifth.
Well, Ryan Booth was the class of the field yesterday's race also. Unfortunately, he had some technical problems. Couldn't finish the race in the up and top. Today, he's showing again he's got the setup.
Yeah, he's got the setup and he's got the skill. He's a very good driver. Ryan is slated to race in the VIR race with the American Le Mans Series in the LMPC car, teaming up with Tristan Nunez. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in that LMPC car as we go on board with the 6th car of Daniel Goldberg with Performance Tech, heading back up this long straightaway. You see at the very end of the shot how steep this hill goes. You cross this start-finish line, and then it is up to 130 feet. That is a steep climb. So you're talking about the reverse of the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, where you drop 6 stories. Here you're going up to turn 1, and then you're back down again towards turn 2. It's really a fantastic track.
Which must play havoc with the technicians of the car, because you want to have the springs and the whole suspension set up for the rest of the course, but then all of a sudden you're going up that hill, that car is getting slammed down to the ground.
Oh yeah, you're getting unbelievable downforce as you're coming up there, and you know it's got to be a lot of pressure on the guys in these cockpits, because you might think, well, you know, these guys aren't you know, in LMPC cars or LMP2 cars or even LMP1 cars, but they get a tremendous amount of downforce in these cars, and their bodies are put under a lot of exertion. As we see the L1 Masters class leader, the 44 car of Richard Fant from Ferrari of Houston. Fant's a great driver, and we talked about classes, and when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about the classes some more, because we always get those battles within the overall race as we see Ryan Booth continuing to lead.
Just like the American Le Mans, you have the battle between the classes within the class.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and take us a quick commercial break, and we're going to be back to see if Ryan Booth can continue his dominance in round 12. We'll be right back.
And we're back here at the Circuit of Americas for round 12 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda race here, brought to you by Motorsport.com, your authority for all your motorsports news.
That is right. Motorsport.com is the authority as we watch the L1 Masters leader, Richard Fant, leading the way here at Circuit of the Americas. We're going to talk about the race classes a little bit later on because we have the L1 class, the Masters class, and the L2 class. We'll discuss those a little later.
Well, and the race is pretty much settled down to follow the leader with Ryan Booth pretty much running away with it. And, of course, Sean Rahal, his main competitor for the entire season, is behind him, following up.
Yeah, and the track here is really lending itself to these variety of classes that we have here as we watch Daryl Schaff and Michael Klumecki going around the track. Let's take a look at a track lap around Circuit of the Americas while we have an opportunity.
Let's do it.
As we're heading down the front stretch, across the start-finish line, you can see the pylon there, the scoring pylon, as we head into the highest point of the track. Turn 1, a slow left-hander. It is the highest point, and you start heading downhill around turn 2 as we go under the Patron Walk Bridge. Turn 3, 4, 5, and beautiful S's there, and into turn 6. Getting set up for the turn 7 left-hander. You see how fast this course is. This course is pretty much, even though you're having these turn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 complex, it is so wide and you can build up so much speed as you head around turn 10, heading down the long lead-in area to the very sharp turn 11 hairpin. This is, again, one of the slowest parts of the track. And then you're heading down this long, very long back straightaway, which is, you're really going to open up this Elan Mazda MZR engine. You're going to use every bit of available horsepower. And this track is so smooth and so wonderfully built. You head into the turn 12 portion of the stadium complex. You can see all the F1 grandstands there off to the right. Into turn 13. And then immediately into turn 14. This is a slower area of the track we're entering into. This section from turn 12 all the way out to turn 16, it's a series of right and left-handers that really is one of the slowest parts of the track. As we're heading around the Grand Plaza area, building up speed in hopes of turn 19. Turn 19 is a little bit of a passing area there. Leading up, you see the pit entry there to the left, and that is turn 20, back onto the front stretch. You're going to get as much speed as you can, built up, so you can head up and have as much momentum as possible across the checkered flag line and building back up to the hill. Great track, isn't it, Tony?
Great track, like you said, smooth, wide, and a lot of passing zones.
There are a lot of passing zones, and these IMSA Lights cars, really, you know, this is, I wouldn't say it's out of their element, but this track was built for Formula One. It's built for bigger prototypes. So these guys are really in these small, lightweight, powerful little IMSA Lights cars. They can just really open it up around here.
Well, I'm sure the drivers, when they came out here, they probably half of them probably thought they died and went to heaven. The track, like I said, so wide, so smooth. It's a beautiful facility, and they're going on a track where we saw in the first race 2, 3 cars wide in a corner.
Oh, and there was a little bit of a error there. That was hard to see, but I wonder what happened. That was the 2 car of Christian Padalecchio. I think that was Richard Fant that almost got into him, but it looks like there's no damage to the car, and he's back going. I wonder if there was maybe a missed shift or a blip somewhere in the. I have no way of speculating, so I won't.
Well, that once again, it brings out the beauty of this circuit. You can make a mistake, go off course a little bit, and no harm, no foul.
Yeah, as we look at leader Ryan Booth, let's go ahead. We've been teasing this whole time. We're going to talk about the classes, so let's go ahead and finally talk about these classes. We have multiple different class structures in IMSA. We have the L1 class, which you're seeing here with Ryan Booth. Ryan Booth is one of what we would call the young guns, so he is the L1 class, and he's currently leading the race here for round 12 at Circuit of the Americas. We're also going to have the L1 Masters class.
Masters class, which is for gentlemen like us. I
Yes,
use it.
yeah.
I use the term loosely,
Hey,
gentlemen.
I'm not over 40 yet.
Guys like me, over 40, who still want to go out there and compete against some of the younger kids, and just go out there and have fun.
And you know, the Masters class guys, so we talk about the race within the race, and we definitely have that always in IMSA Lights races. Makes it very exciting as we see the back of the, you're seeing the 3rd, 4th, 5th place cars coming across, and at the top of the screen you begin to see the Masters competitors coming across. And in a lot of situations, the Masters competitors are grouped up a little bit tighter, and they're racing a little bit harder than even the guys at the front of the field. As we see the 44 car of Richard Fant coming across, there's an L1 class non-Masters entry in between him and the Leonardis, the 4 car. The Leonardis, who is now making the pass on his teammate there with 8 Star Motorsports. The Leonardis, the 4 car, is one of the Masters entries, so he's in 2nd place in the Masters class, as we see the graphic there very conveniently popping up.
Yeah, but don't think for a second, you people out there, that the Masters class is just a bunch of old guys going out for a Sunday drive. Another member of the Masters class, Scott Tucker. He is leading the LMP2 class in the American Le Mans Series.
Absolutely. And, Scott Tucker uses lights as well as he does with all of his development series cars that he runs in. This is a great way for him to get out there and do multi-class racing, as he does in the much bigger series with the American Le Mans Series. Scott Tucker, owner of Level 5 Motorsports, and a fantastic driver. A lot of people call him the Iron Man of racing.
Yeah. And then don't forget, we also have the L2 class.
Yes, the L2 class. The L2 class used to be a different car. Last year, it was a car built by West Race Cars. It was a different chassis, different car. The L2 car this year is actually the exact same as an L1 car. It is an Elan DPO2 car, but it has the old spec engine, which actually produces about 20 horsepower less. So the L2 car is slightly slower, so it does give you that multi-class feel.
But the L2 class is good for you. If you have a team from a couple years ago, you still have some of those older engines available. You get to run them. You don't have to throw them in the garbage when they change the class, so you can still go out there. And the most important thing about this whole Prototypes Lights class is it's a development series.
Yes.
It's to get people either to get practice, or for these young kids, as we're seeing with Ryan Booth and Scott Rahal, to cut their teeth on the same tracks the American Le Mans do, the same type of cars, similar cars, to be able to next year or the year after that move up into the big boys class, as they say.
Well, you look at Tristan Nunez from last year, prime example. Tristan, and we see the 15 car of Alan Wilzig has spun. That looks like that's in the stadium complex, I believe. Cutting back to Sean Rahal, coming across in 2nd with Mikael Gluckberg in 3rd. But talking about the development portion of the series, Mazda does have the ladder program, where if you are the champion, you get an opportunity to move up in the LMPC, and there is some financial consideration for that move up that is made. That's part of the incentive package of the Mazda Ladder Series, which Tristan Nunez was able to do as champion of L1 class last year. Tristan was able to move up into LMPC class, and he's got multiple 3rd place finishes and a win at Baltimore under his belt already. So it just shows the development in these Prototype Lights classes really pays off in the bigger series.
Well, Tristan has impressed me a lot this year. He's driving like a veteran out there, which he learned how to be a veteran in this Prototype Lights class.
Absolutely, yeah. He and in fact, I believe you'll see Sean Rahal, who we see on screen here, running in 2nd place behind Ryan Booth. Sean Rahal with Competent Motorsports. Sean has been working as a driver coach with the Podolico boys over at 8 Star, and I believe we're going to see at the end of the year. Don't quote me on this. It may not be absolutely certain, but Sean Rahal will be in the 8 Star entry at Road Atlanta.
I wouldn't be surprised, and frankly, I think that'd be a smart move.
Yeah, Sean's a great driver. He's still got a little bit of a development needed going, but again, we're in the development series. Everybody you're seeing in this development series who's wanting to move up still has a few of those details that they need to work out, and sometimes those are on or off the track, but these guys are there. And John Brownson back out on track. John Brownson has been in the pits for quite some time. He was involved in a lap 1 incident. I believe you remember. You saw John Brownson head off the track. Looks like they've had to replace some suspension work under that left front. But good to see John's back out on the track trying to get some laps under his belt here at COTA.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm wondering how his arrow's working right now because it seems to be missing part of the front end of the car.
Yeah. I don't think aero is his big concern right now. And it looks like Jim Booth is going to getting reports from the pits that Jim Booth is going to try to get back out on track. He did not start this race, but it looks like Jim Booth is going to try to get back out on track, maybe get some laps under his belt. But anyway, John Brownson, Mr. Excitement, never fails to amaze. Every race you're going to get something out of John Brownson. That man is, and again, he's one of those Masters competitors. John ran in Indy Lights years ago. John has a lot of experience racing, and now he's a over 40 competitor. And in a lot of races, he can compete in the upper tiers of the race series. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break here in just a few moments as we're watching the wonderful IMSA Lights classes heading around Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Will Ryan Booth continue his dominance? Will 8 Star be the spoiler? We'll find out when we come back from this break. And we're back to racing here at round 12 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda from Austin, Texas, and the beautiful Circuit of the Americas with 24 and a half minutes remaining in this 45-minute timed race. As we see the 8-star number 2 entry of Christian Padalicchio being followed by the 44 car of Richard Fant, Ferrari of Houston, and our first place Masters class competitor at this time.
Hey, it's kind of amusing. I always found it amusing that sponsored by Ferrari of Houston, but he's driving a Mazda powered car.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
I got to say something because Ryan Booth's like totally checked out here.
Oh yeah, Ryan Booth, as we just saw in the screenshot, he's way past turn 1 as Sean Rahal is just now crossing the start-finish line, followed somewhat closely by Mikhail Goetberg, the 10 car of JDC Motorsports, and we see the 6 cars getting ready to come into the frame right there at the back. Daniel Goldberg of Performance Tech. Daniel Goldberg is a fast driver. For those of you who have been following our broadcast in the series, he put down a blistering new track record at Sebring, so he's a fast driver in and of himself. And Mikhail Goetberg, another fast driver, the 10 car, the blue car there, from JDC Motorsports. He was second in the championship last year in the L1 class.
Well, this is a point where I like to point out something about this series being a development series. The cars in the class, in the L1 class, they're all the same. Everybody gets in, they all look the same parts and everything. You got a guy, Ryan Booth, talented driver.
Very.
But he's beating everybody. He's going to town on these guys right now because he's learning how to set up that car, which is what's important in the development series.
Yes.
There's always going to be fast drivers, but smart drivers, that's what this series is for, to develop the smart ones.
And that is the difference, is he is learning the setups. Sean Rahal is another one of those guys who's able to do that quite well. He's learning the setups of the cars. He's actually a little bit off track there, but back on. Another great advantage of Circuit of the Americas. But Sean Rahal, again, is one of those drivers who, he's not a silver spoon guy out there who has been brought up in racing. He's worked his way through it, and he has battled it out and toughed it out, and he's done it quite well. I mean, he has built himself a career and will continue to build himself a career as long as he doesn't get derailed by any of the things that young drivers, some of those mistakes they make. He'll continue to build himself a very promising career if he keeps his head on and keeps everything going in the proper direction. And that's another thing that these drivers, these young guys, are learning in this series. It's the first time that they are really being exposed to broadcast media. This broadcast will be shown in 44 different countries across the world, and so they are really have that scrutiny of the worldwide viewer upon them.
Well, this is their start of creating their brand in marketing speaks, or the way that people are going to start recognizing the Ryan Booths and the Sean Rahals and stuff like that, and people are going to start acknowledging for who they are, attracting sponsors, which is always important in racing also.
Yeah, absolutely. Because without sponsors and without the participation of our corporate partners, you might have motorsports, but it may not be at the level that they are able to run at in a lot of situations here. We see the 18 car of Ryan Booth coming around, and I believe that is he's putting some lapping on the traffic in front of him there as we get close to the 21-minute mark of this timed race. All lights races are timed. That is one thing we have not talked about. Is there are 2 races every weekend. We show the highlights from round 11, the very wet round 11 that we had. That is a 30-minute timed race. And the second race of the weekend, which is the one we're viewing here, round 12, is a 45-minute timed race. These guys get a lot of track time. They get 1 hour and 15 minutes as Ryan's trying to end. The 2 car of Christian Padalicchio has spun. I'm not sure what turn that is. It's looks like it's in the Grand Plaza area. I'm not sure, or maybe that's the stadium section. Hard to tell sometimes from some of these shots what turn we're looking at here at Circuit of the Americas.
Well, it's like we were discussing. Beautiful track, beautiful facility, but it's a new track. Hard to recognize. It doesn't have the features yet.
Right. It doesn't have some of those iconic things such as turn 17 at Sebring, Sunset Bend. You always know when you're looking at the Sunset Bend, you can tell what that is. And we got a brief shot there of the 42 car of Jim Garrett stopped off to the side of the track. I'm wondering if that's going to bring out a caution flag.
Just Mike, it looked like a place that wasn't that safe. They want to. It's better to err on the side of safety.
Yeah, it's always better to err on the side of safety when you're talking about people's lives. But, of course, these are, and there we go. Full course caution.
They listened to me.
Yeah, that's right. they could hear you all the way out there. So we got a double yellow full course caution. That is bringing out the safety car. So another exciting thing about lights is the restarts. We get to watch all of these cars bunched back up together for a fantastic restart coming.
I'm sure Ryan Booth is not crazy about restarts right now.
Probably not.
Yeah, he had such a build-up, a great lead. He was just running away with this race. All of a sudden, he's got to start all over again.
Yeah, that's right. So, just like, if any of you are Formula One fans who watched the Singapore race, you saw Sebastian Vettel in that race leading out to a very heavy lead over second place, and then there was a caution flag, bunched him back up. Of course, he was able to build that lead out again and win that race at Singapore. But Ryan Booth, not to compare Ryan Booth directly to a Formula One driver, but Ryan Booth has built out a substantial lead, and now the caution flag is going to bring them back together, and it's going to be back upon him to build that lead back up, and it gives another opportunity for the second place car of Sean Rahal to be able to do something about it.
Back again, don't like to harp on it, but it is a development series.
Yep.
You have to learn how to handle restarts, how to restart when you're in the lead, how to restart when you're second or third. You got to learn all of this.
That's right. And the cars are coming up the hill here to turn 1. We just saw the Porsche safety car, and I love this shot. This is one of the icons of Circuit of the Americas. I call it the Angry Dragon. It is the tower which protrudes up at the middle of the infield of Circuit of the Americas, and to me it looks like an angry dragon or snake rising out of the middle of the infield. But you can see all the spotters and cameramen up there. Great vantage point for spotters to be able to communicate with the driver and let them know what's going on.
Well, I think we just have a new nickname for the track. If that's the Angry Dragon, then the track is the Dragon's Lair.
There's a good nickname, the Dragon's Lair, Circuit of the Americas.
Copyright Tony Castanera.
Had to make sure we get that in there. But as we're under full course caution, also full course caution, good time for these guys to relax, take a breather, be able to kind of check anything, talk with their crew members, any problems they may be having, which is what we're seeing now, as you no longer see Dan Goldberg in the screen because Dan Goldberg has pulled off the track and back into the pits with a transmission problem. So something that was building slightly. So, Ryan Booth and Dan Goldberg are teammates at Performance Stack, so maybe there's a link back there or not. But we see the green flag waving, and it's back to green flag racing. Ryan gets a fantastic jump as he heads up the hill, and he is heading into turn 1. He really got a good jump on Sean there.
I don't know if it was his good jump or Sean just wasn't paying attention and didn't know it was coming up.
I have no idea what's there. I'm don't know if you could spin the wheels here. That's the often what happens in NASCAR is you'll see a guy who doesn't get a good restart. He's spun the wheels, but Ryan really is checking out again very quickly. And Sean is now going to have to deal with Mikhail Goetberg. He's going to be looking more in his mirrors than what's in front of him, because now it's not a matter of can he catch Ryan, but can he keep Mikhail from passing him.
And when he keeps the driver behind him, Mikhail behind from passing him, that just lets Ryan Booth have a clear track and just leave everybody behind.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Richard Fant trying to get around the 95 car. I believe that is one of the L2 cars in the field. As we see the Leonardis in the 4-car Toff Industries sponsored car, and trying to work his way up to catch Richard Fant, who is now our L1 Masters class leader. And now remember, we talked about development series, we talked about classes. As we see Christian Padalico putting a pass on Richard Fant, that's for overall position. That's one thing you got to remember is these guys are still the Masters class. They are fighting for overall position regardless of class position. So Christian Padalico making the pass on Richard Fant now puts the Leonardis second place in the Masters class right up under the wing of Richard Fant, the 44 car, the silver car in your screen there.
I don't know what's going on with Richard Fant. He's been pretty much leading the Masters class most of the race, but now he seems to be getting eaten up by all the competitors out there.
Yeah, he looks to have maybe slowed up a little bit because now De Leonardis is looking at trying to get around him in those S's, which are very fast S's and not usually the best passing opportunity, but De Leonardis looks like he's picking his moment as to when he's going to be able to pass him. I wonder if Fant is having a problem, a mechanical issue.
It might be a mechanical issue, or it might be during the yellow flag he got on the marbles a little bit.
Yeah, that's possible.
And he didn't keep the tires warm, and they just they didn't cycle right.
And Leonardis looking to the outside, back to the inside. Fant looks like he had locked up the brakes a little bit there and overshot somewhat. And De Leonardis is passing on Daniel, the 28 car, the kind of matte gray looking car there, is trying to make a move on Richard Fant also. So now De Leonardis is our L1 Masters class leader.
And here comes for another pass. That's one of the things about these cars. They are full-blown race cars from the ground up. And it might seem strange, but they don't do well going slow.
Oh, and Daniel gets a little bit of help there from Richard Fant. A little tap to the right rear, and he spins off into the asphalt off the side of the track. Great thing about a Formula One track is off the track you can get back on. As Ryan Booth is followed by Sean Rahal, second place Mikhail Goetberg, third place here at Circuit of the Americas. So let's take another break, and we'll be back for the exciting conclusion of round 12. And we are back to Circuit of the Americas for round 12 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights powered by Mazda, as Ryan Booth continues to lead this race, followed in second by number 14, Sean Rahal of Comparant Motorsports, who is followed in third place by the 10 car of Mikhail Goetberg from JDC Motorsports. Beautiful track, beautiful area. I know these guys are enjoying themselves substantially here as we see, I believe that's the orange and that's the 4 car of De Leonardis. So the L1 Masters, he was first place, L1 Masters.
He was leading there for a while. He spun out, and not the safest place to spun out, but he got it restarted, and he kept on going.
So that would, I believe Richard Fant will inherit the lead of the L1 Masters class if De Leonardis is off track. So this is, there is De Leonardis. There must have been something there a little bit that we did not see before that camera cut to his spin, because he's not heading to his pit box. He is heading to the penalty box. So we will try to get word of what that is about. But it looks like he is going down to the end to...
But he's gesticulating. He's not happy whatever happened.
Yeah, he is going to the penalty box. So we'll have to find out what happened there. Must have been some avoidable contact or something. And he looks both animated and dejected at the same time as he is... No race car driver likes sitting in the penalty box.
And for those of you who speak sign language, I apologize.
Absolutely. Sorry about that. But back to watching the Masters class, and we see Daryl Schaff, the purple car, number 94, leading ahead of Lamont Harris, the 65 car of Comparant Motorsports. So, lots of battles within the battles. It's Leonardis is still sitting there. I think if you see any smoke rising, it is not from flames. It is from his temper as he's finally getting led out off the pit road back to the track. So, but De Leonardis had built up a good lead, so I have a feeling he'll you shuffle back in, without being too far out of the podium of the Masters class, as we see the 44 car of Richard Fant heading across the start-finish line, who is now our leader in the Masters class.
I don't know. That was I think they gave him like almost a full minute there penalty.
I would imagine it's stop plus minute for avoidable contact. I would imagine.
I can imagine if you don't think you deserve that penalty to sit there, which is tantamount to basically a timeout.
Yeah.
Throwing your little tantrum there.
Yeah, my children don't like timeouts. I don't think drivers do either. But we see Mikhail Goetberg is getting called up by the 3 car of Enzo Potolicchio with 4 minutes left in this timed race. And Enzo Potolicchio, a very experienced driver, a Le Mans 24 Hours driver. Scott Tucker, another driver who is a Le Mans 24 Hours driver. So the Lights field has a lot of talent in it.
Well, that's another great thing about this series. You're a young driver in the development series trying to learn your trade, and you're going to be actually competing against guys who've been there before.
That's right.
Know what they're doing.
That's right. As we see Enzo Potolicchio getting even closer to Mikhail Goetberg, he is looking for an opportunity to pounce upon him. Sorry for that little technical delay there. Back to the track, and we see Enzo Potolicchio looking to the inside of Mikhail Goetberg.
Just letting him know he's there.
Absolutely. You're going to show him in his mirror, see if he can rattle his cage a little bit and maybe make him make a mistake. That's often a technique that I have seen good use made of, is to show your car in their mirrors, shake them up a little bit, let them know you're there, and if you can direct their attention away from being able to hit that apex perfectly and unwind perfectly out of it and get as much speed through your corner, then maybe you can force them into a mistake. As we see Sean Rahal continuing to pursue Ryan Booth, it looks like this battle between Enzo Potolicchio and Mikhail Goetberg might be costing Mikhail Goetberg just a little bit of time.
He's gonna fall. He's fallen behind Sean Rahal. So right now, unless something happens, we're looking at Sean Rahal's pretty much a lock at second place.
And there is Fant on pit road.
Oh, that's not good. Pit road's not good.
Yeah, so apparently when we spoke earlier about Fant having a mechanical issue possibly looming and slowing, it looks like that mechanical issue may have caught up with him. So Danny Mancini inherits the lead of the Masters class as the number 19 car of Jim Booth is given just a wee bit of a tap from Michael Klumecki as they head into turn 1 to get him turned around, and he's going to try to get that car spun around and get him out of the way. Doesn't want to be in a dangerous spot there, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did it in a good spot where everybody could see him and didn't cut anybody off. But unfortunately, if you're going to spin, you want to spin early, not with only a couple of minutes left in the race.
That's right. And Jim Booth, as you will recall, he did not start the race officially. He spent several laps in the pits and was able to get that car started about halfway through the race. So Jim Booth is several laps down as we see Enzo Potolicchio continuing to hound Mikhail Goetberg, trying to force him into a mistake.
That's the whole thing about the experience. Goetberg's getting a nice little lesson on how to maintain a lead.
Yeah, that's right. He is being taken to school right now as Ryan Booth is going to be coming to the white flag here shortly.
As we sit here and watch Ryan Booth take turn 20 to take the white flag to start his last lap, which in a racer in his position is the worst lap of the race, because now he's feeling every little vibration, hearing every little sound, worrying, is this car going to break on me? Is it going to last?
That's right. And, considering that in race 1 he had a mechanical issue, that's got to be in the back of his mind. If he hears a little click or a bump and he says, what's that? So 30 minutes left in the time race. White flag has already been shown because being a timed race, you show the white flag.
And there's the battle of Potolicchio and Goetberg right here coming into their last lap.
Oh, absolutely. Enzo is going to try. This is the last step of the podium. So Enzo's going to do everything he can to try to get around Mikhail Goetberg.
as they tearing through the S's. I got to Goldberg for a
And there he goes. He's
was
looking to the
impressing
inside.
me. Oh, but he's
Oh.
not giving up. He's not going to give it up easy.
No, Goldberg's a great racer. He's been racing for a long time, even though he's a young guy. But Enzo's going to, and there's a pass. I don't think that's for the lead, but that is Danny Mancini in the yellow and black car, the number 96 car, battling with De Leonardis.
De Leonardis, I think, is a lap down.
Yeah, he served, he spun, and then he had to serve a lengthy penalty. So I would say he's definitely a lap down. And we see the third place car of Mikhail Goldberg trying to stay in front of Enzo Potolicchio, which is going to be quite an effort to do so.
This is the part of the race I love. The last lap, you got the young guy,
and he's going to be able to get inside, and he makes it stick, and he takes third place.
Beautiful pass. He, like you said before, he got into Goldberg thinking, and Goldberg just gave him a little too much room.
Yep, and now Goldberg is sitting there thinking to himself, how can I pass this guy back? I need to get my position.
And he's trying. Picked the wrong spot.
Yeah, he put too much into it, got a little bit of the red mist descended.
And he loses 2 places. That's Potolicchio's son, Christian.
Yes, that's right. So it looks like Ryan Booth, as he comes to the checkered flag, will be our winner here for round 12 of the Cooper Tires Prototype Lights, powered by Mazda, here from Circuit of the Americas in beautiful Austin, Texas, followed in second by Sean Rahal. And we will be continuing to watch this battle as
Enzo Potolicchio comes and takes his third place.
Absolutely. Enzo Potolicchio takes third place, and we see the number 95 car of Jerome Mee. He is going to be our L2 winner.
L2 winner. We forgot about those guys, but he did quite well in this race. Clean race. You didn't talk about him, so he ran a clean race.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So he did quite well. But the checkered flag is out for all of our classes here at round 12. And what will be interesting to see is the Masters class when it comes into the picture, because the Masters class, there we see the number 96 car of Daniel Mancini.
Coming into turn 20, the last turn, taking the checker flag to win the Masters class.
Absolutely. So Daniel Mancini takes the checkered flag here at Circuit of the Americas.
So let me go over the final results. As we all know, Ryan Booth ran pretty much a perfect race.
Absolutely.
Take first place. Sean Rahal, clean race also. Fine second place, followed by Enzo Potolicchio with that last lap pass. And his son, he must be proud.
Absolutely.
Christian Potolicchio taking first, and Mikhail Goldberg recovered for 5th place. 6th place, and the winner of the Masters class, Daniel Mancini, followed by Don Yount and Lamont Harris. And as we said before, the winner of the L2 class was Jerome Mee.
Fantastic, as we see Ryan Booth being saluted there in pit road by his team members and his crew. A fantastic result for Ryan. Let's hear from him now.
Glad to take the win today. After yesterday we had an unfortunate race, had a mechanical, and just stoked the Performance Tech boys could get the car running again. And it was just awesome throughout the whole race, and just couldn't ask for a better way to end the weekend.
That's great to hear from Ryan Booth. So that's it for round 12 here from Circuit of the Americas, Tony.
It was a great race, great weekend, great track. It can't be a boring race at this track. This is an incredible track. We saw cars 3 wide, passing in the corners, excitement everywhere.
It was an exciting race, fantastic track, and a fantastic series. So our next stop is Petit Le Mans. Please join us then at Road Atlanta. We'll see you then.